Okay, let's go over this last problem, an annuity problem in section 12.1. So an annuity is money that's deposited and you earn interest every time period, as well as adding money to the account so it can earn interest. So there's periodic deposits, that's P. The interest rate is R as a decimal, and it's compounded n times, just like we were doing in our exponent and log chapter. Okay, so here is the formula. A sub 0 is the first term of our sequence. That's how much you initially put down or put in the bank. A sub n means that your nth term, and this is how much would be in the account. 1 plus R, your interest rate is a decimal, divided by n, the number of compounding periods, times the previous amount, plus whatever your periodic deposit. So let's try an actual problem with that. So we're going on a trip to Cancun, and it's going to cost $450. The full payment is due March 2nd. To have the money, the student's going to start saving. So September 1st, they put $100 in a savings account that pays 4% per year, compounded monthly. So that's N is 12. On the first of each month, the student deposits another $50 in this account. Okay, so find the regressive sequence that explains how much is in the account after n months. Well, I'm using this formula. A sub 0 is going to be the initial amount, which is 100. A sub n is 1 plus 0.04, the interest rate, divided by n, because we're compounding monthly, multiplied by the previous term. That's what makes this recursive. Plus, I put the $50 in. So that is my recursive sequence. It tells me how much money is in there after n months. Now it says use the table feature to list the amounts of the annuity for the first 6 months. Well, this is going to take quite a bit of calculator work, and we have not done this yet. So let's go through how to enter a sequence in the calculator. So the first thing you need to do is go to Mode and come down to change. Instead of function, we want to be on sequence, and hit Enter. And then we'll quit out of there. Okay, once we have changed our calculator to sequence mode, I now need to enter this information. And the first thing I'm going to do is go to y equals. So it's like you were putting in an equation when we're in function mode. And the first thing we have to do is say what is our first value here. So we're going to have a 0 there because I have an initial amount. And down here is what is that value. So that's 100. So mu is what they're using instead of the A. And the second row, U of n, is just how do we define our sequence. So I'm going to be entering this, but I have a U here, and I need to put a parentheses around all of that. So I'm going to start off with 2 parentheses. 1 plus 0.04 divided by 12, close parentheses. Now, remember I need a U here. So to get the U is right above the 7. So I have to do second 7, and that gives me the U. Another parentheses to give it the index value. Now to get an N, there is an N right here, where we normally would press to get an X. Because I've changed to sequence mode, it knows that I need an N, because N's are what are used in sequence mode. -1, close parentheses. Now I close that parentheses again, and then plus 50. So that is my whole formula entered in there. And now we want to say, use the table feature. Well, to get tables, the same way we do with functions, second graph. And notice it's going to give me a list of values with n on the left, and then my term value on the right. So the third month, I would have $251.50, etc. So that's how we would get the values there. And if I wanted to write down the first, how many? You want the first 6 months? Well, I would just write down up to the 6th there, and I could have the values written down. Part C, after the deposit on March 1st, is there enough money to pay for the Cancun trip? So after the 6th month, well, there's $404 in there and 53 cents. So no, there's not enough. So then we come back and say, well, if the student deposited $60 each month instead of $50, would they have enough? Well, so I've got to change my recursive sequence. So I'm going back into y equals. And the only thing I've got to change, so I'm just arrowing over, is instead of 50, I want that to be 60. So let's put 60 there. Quit out of there and go back to my table. So now on the 6th month, we have $465.03. So yes, there is enough money now in the account to pay for the trip to Cancun. Okay, so I hope that helps. Good luck on your homework, and if you have any questions, please ask.